rolling. What's up, everybody? It's your boy T Strange here with Project Underdog Podcast, episode number 6. All right, so real quick, it is Memorial Day weekend right now. It is Saturday. I had a late night last night. I had to run security for a local band here and got in bed rather late and woke up rather late, which doesn't do good for me because I get out of my rhythm. And, probably the same things to be said for you too. Anyway, did not feel like going to the gym this morning. Didn't want to. There was nothing inside of me that wanted to go to Gold's. Didn't want to do it. Anyway, man, I forced myself to put my clothes on, put my shoes on, got in my truck and made my way. Well, during my route, I noticed a landscaper working his ass off, man. He was shoveling mulch out of a box truck into a wheelbarrow and then onto some flower beds. He was working his ass off. And it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. And I thought to myself, like, dude, that sucks. I know I'm going to do something I don't want to do, but, you're there because somebody else made you. It sucks. And I'm like, why would somebody do that? Well, that's easy. They had a boss that told them to show up at this house at 8 o'clock and get to work. And the thought came to me that, how good are we of bosses to ourselves? If we acted in accordance to the standard our employer set for us, what if we did that with ourselves? What if we showed up every time we were supposed to, just like a job? What if you didn't show up for your job Monday, Tuesday, it's weekend? What if you didn't show up to your job the next day? What would happen? Man, you get in trouble. You did it enough and you would get fired. You no longer even have a job at that point. But with ourselves, we're far more lenient. Not even do, hell, it was hard for me to make myself show up to a commitment I had for myself, right? So if I was an employee, I would have been a shitty one today, right? I mean, I would have gotten there, but I wouldn't have been too excited about it. And took it one step further. I mean, aside from showing up to your job, based off your employer's expectations and standards, how do you do? I mean, if you're working a job where you're making reasonable money, chances are you have a lot of responsibility that you must meet in order to keep your job and pay your bills. But what about the standard for yourself? Like, if your boss told you, hey man, I need these files done by 5 o'clock, you're going to get those files done by 5 o'clock. But if you are a boss to yourself and say, hey, this is the diet you're going to stick to today, you got to stick to it, man, the chances of you letting yourself down are far greater than you letting your employer down. And it's crazy that we hold that relationship to such a high standard with our employer. Now, like I said, I've worked for myself for years, so I'm kind of disconnected from that. But I can think back to how things were, and I've got close friends that have bosses and deadlines, and those that make good money that are working for companies. They're held to a very high standard that they must meet. But when it comes to the standard we set for ourselves, do we act with the same urgency, with the same discipline as we do with our job? Imagine if you did that, though, And so let's take that one step further. So I'm a bad employee today, man. Didn't want to show up to work. So I show up to the gym and, I'm getting warmed up on the stairs like I always do. And I was thinking, for the results that you want and who you want to be, how hard do you got to work today, Taylor? Because sometimes when I'm there and I don't want to train, the intensity's down. I'm in, I'm out, and just kind of go through the motions. Well, if I was an employee, I'd be a shitty employee. And if I were working a high-paying job, I would be fired. Bad intensity. You didn't work hard enough. You could put in way more effort. Go flip burgers, bro, because that's your effort. You show up and that's it. Go flip some burgers. And so I ended up having a great workout. When got warmed up, felt good, and had this constant thought of, be your own boss. Be your own boss. Think outside of yourself for a second. What would you make you do if you were the boss of your own life? I know it sounds glamorous working for yourself and being an entrepreneur, but you have to understand if that's a journey that you're going to take, you've got to be an excellent boss of yourself, an excellent boss of your time and the standard that you set for yourself. Think right now, man, if you look at the disciplines you have in your life directed from you, how much do you stick to that? How much of a standard do you have for yourself? If this were a job and you were the boss, would you be happy with your performance? Probably not. So why don't we treat ourselves the same way with the same respect that we treat our employer? Do the work. I'm out.